If you scroll TikTok and you burst out laughing at a sassy lady keeping it real, then you probably found Samantha, best known as the crazy cleaning lady.
Hey y'all, hey, it's Crazy Cleaning Lady.
And she's proving that having a solo cleaning business is not just a side hustle, but a legitimate and profitable business that can change your life.
Start this business with very minimal startup costs. And I was also able to maintain it because I didn't have that keep up with the Joneses mentality.
So if you want to start a solo cleaning business,
if you're going to remain solo, you have to prepare for illnesses, vacations.
Or you're already in one, but you want to be taken seriously.
And I tell people all the time, if the vibe is off, it's not your client.
Then this conversation is going to be pure gold for you. Hello, it's Chanique here, helping you, new and inspiring entrepreneurs, start and grow your business. So if you want to learn everything mindset, sales, marketing, home service, business conversations, then be sure to subscribe to my channel. The crazy cleaning lady is going to be sharing her unfiltered advice on how she built her profitable solo business that allowed her to invest in her home improvement and allowed her husband to leave his job and start a full-time empire together. So Samantha, the crazy cleaning lady, tell us, how did you start as a lunch lady to having a profitable cleaning business and now a TikTok icon?
I was a dental lab technician by trade, and then I left there to work at my kids' school because I wanted to work when they were in school and be home when they were home. After about my 8th or 9th year at the school, I said, okay, I've had enough of the hairnet. I went and sat in my car at lunch one day, designed my business card, came home that night, told my husband, I said, hey, we're opening a cleaning business. And he goes, okay. I started promoting myself on social media. I still had a month of school left, so that gave me a month to fill my schedule. So I made sure that I had a full schedule. And on July 5th of that year, I walked into the school board office and said, here's my letter of resignation.
Shout outs to your supportive husband. We love a supportive husband 100%. That's beautiful to have that support. So you already had your schedule full when you gave that resignation?
So the goal for that 8 weeks was to get at least one house a day as I'm hustling and as I'm promoting my business. And I talked a lot about my business. Like if I ran into people at the grocery store, if I was on social media, I was posting. By the time July rolled around, I didn't have just one house a day. I had 2 houses a day.
And what I really pick up for that, I would love those who are watching to understand, is you have a goal, you want to do something, but there's nothing else in the way. You knew that July I was going to give my resignation, and between that time, I have to be able to sustain my life after this. And you just made it happen.
We tell people all the time, I was walking on faith that I did not have to go back to that lunchroom. Like I did anything I had to do to get that schedule full.
But how did you choose to stay solo, especially when it's so attractive to scale and the pressure too?
I hired several people in the first couple of years, and there's a lot of reasons why it didn't work out. One, I hired people that I knew, that were, friends, acquaintances, stuff like that. I hired people that weren't really serious about the business. I was a terrible boss, terrible. And I admit that openly because when you're in such a small town and you've built a good reputation, the fear is that one mistake will ruin that reputation. And, I know now that it won't, that, you can overcome those things. But initially in the beginning, I did not want to scale up because it took away some of the control that I had for the systems that I had in place for the homes that I was servicing. I decided that for me, it was just easier to stay solo. And then that way I could focus on what I could handle at that moment. Like I didn't have to worry about somebody else's schedule, or I didn't have to worry about how long we were taking for lunch. I could do exactly what I wanted to do with my business and not have that overhead.
I appreciate you sharing this because on TikTok, you are full of life. To hear your truth and your in-depth behind these decisions really helps me connect. So if you guys are connecting with the crazy cleaning lady, leave a comment down below. However, whether or not you could have went one path, you definitely are able to see the blessing in this path and how it has made its way in the current situation, regardless of which way you went. And I want to then know directly, let's address it. Why do you think there's such a stigma around being solo?
So for me, like when I first got started, I think the stigma was that we're all uneducated, that we're just a Betty with a bucket. I heard that comparison one day from a friend of mine, and it stuck with me. That we're all just stay-at-home moms who want to have a little side cash, and that's not the case. When I opened my business, I don't think in the beginning I took it as serious as I could. But one day I flipped the switch and I was like, you know what? If we're ever going to succeed and have nice things, and if we're ever going to be able to level up, we have to start taking this more seriously. I got real serious about my money. I got real serious about my profits and my loss. I got real serious about travel times. I just honed it all in and set out a plan. And I said, okay, this is how much money I want in the bank by the end of the year. What do I have to do to achieve this? So I just started setting myself goals to just keep leveling up.
I'm also coming from, for me, I don't have a cleaning business anymore. Some of you guys know or do not know, but I started solo, but I also had to go through the
Yes.
revelation as well as like, okay, Shanique, you either going to go to college and stop this cleaning business because it's not making enough. That's why I wasn't charging properly. Or I become a professional business owner, take this seriously. That means I dropped that. I choose to drop out of college because I was taking this serious. And I'm not telling everyone to drop out of college, guys. But the
Yeah.
decision to replace it from a hobby or let's just see how it goes to this is the goal, that's when I increased my prices. I started to reach out for help. I started to market correctly. I started to brand correctly. Despite what other people may perceive of solo cleaning business owners, as long as you know where your end goal is, then work it as best as possible. If you want the side hustle galore, work it like it's a side hustle, but own it. If you want a business, own the business and operate as a business. Now, I would love to know, I'm sure everyone listening wants to know, being able to achieve these and the rewards, obviously work has to be put into it. If you can share with us your secrets on effective methods on attracting quality clients that respect your time and don't haggle your prices, because I know you do not play your TikToks. You will tell Rebecca about herself.
I think every cleaner is going to learn it through trial and error. Think in the beginning, I was more likely to have clients who talked down to me, or you would go in and give an estimate on the home and it would look one way, but then you would show up a week later and it would look totally different. And in the I just did it. I just, kind of kept my head down, did what I needed to do. And then through a series of pretty bad clients, like I had one who tested the water and I let her go. And then one day I woke up and I was like, you know what? We're not doing this anymore. I kind of made a mental checklist of things to listen for and to look for whenever I'm doing an initial phone call and an initial walkthrough. And I tell people all the time, if the vibe is off, it's not your client. Not all money is good money. Now, whenever a prospective client calls, if in that initial phone call, I feel like, you know what, I'm probably not going to be the right cleaner for you, I don't bite my tongue. I say,
Mhm.
I think your expectations may be a little more than what I can achieve for you. Let me give you some other local recommendations. And I send them to cleaners that I think they would be a much better fit with. And because of that, I have a roster, and I've said this before on TikTok and on social media. My roster of clients right now are golden. They treat me with respect. They value my time. The money is always either on the counter or paid in advance. But I think with your growth through the business, your confidence gets better and you're quicker to just snap and say, okay, nope, that's not okay with me, or that price is well below what I'm willing to do that job for.
I remember
Yes.
certain things that would pick up on the phone. So let me know. I would love to know what your things are over the phone that I know for a fact I was not going to take on this client and someone who's reluctant of answering your questions. If you go to the doctor, if you go to the mechanic, they're going to need you to answer a few questions in order for them to be the most helpful. You're not going to tell the mechanic that your horn's working If it's not, they need to know the instructions, the same as a cleaning business owner. So if someone does not want to answer the questions over the phone and are rushing you, then they don't clearly value cleaning services and move on. So what is something that
Absolutely.
once some like you know for a fact if you heard this over the phone, run.
For me, I call it being wishy-washy. Well, I'm not really sure what I need you to do. I may just need you to only do this. I may have to pay you on this day, but can you clean on this day? That to me, first red flag is if you can't make a decision on what services you need and how your ability to pay. And if the client can't make simple decisions, I know that it's probably not the client for me. Like,
Mhm.
and then the other thing is if they call and say they're going to go behind me with a white glove, I'm out. And it's amazing
Yeah.
because at first you don't realize it, but then as you grow in the business, you pretty much can tell by the tone in which a potential client speaks to you if that's going to be your client or not.
So what are your 3 favorite tools or products that you're actually using that has
Yeah.
helped your efficiency as a cleaner?
So, my very first tool that I got on TikTok that I promoted before TikTok Shop, before commissions, before any of that was the Tovar Spin Right Mop.
Mm.
And I actually got to meet Nancy and Jose over the summer. They're amazing people. However, that was 3 years ago, and I still use that system. That system has been like I clean cabinets with it, I clean walls with it. It's got interchangeable heads, and then anything from Long's Products because it's Louisiana small business, and I love supporting a small business just like Tovar's. They're family owned and operated, but they have a new product that I just recently got my hands on. It's called Cajun Sparkle. It's a hydrogen peroxide based cleaner. Absolutely love it. It comes in a gallon or ready to use, but I buy everything in concentrate because you
Mhm.
get more bang for your buck. So I try to encourage cleaners if you can buy your products in bulk, no matter if you're buying them from the big box store or if you're ordering them online, make sure you're buying in bulk because that's going to bring down your overhead. Even as a solo cleaner, you want to be thinking about the money that you're spending every time you're stopping in at the big box stores.
I wish I knew that. I remember starting and I wanted to do eco-friendly and I bought Method for my clients. Like I was going
Yes.
in $8 bottles for for the clients, and not to say like they're not worth it, but I was getting 1 to 2 clients when I first started. And I'm spending all this money on
Yeah.
when I found out that they were a gallon, I never looked back and I everyone should be buying by the gallon. Now, with dealing with taxes and running your business and admin and tools, how do you keep sane and also deal with your mental health and avoid or deal with burnouts?
So normally I burn out about once a month, but I have like from being in the business for so long now, I pay all of my household and all of my business bills on the first of every month. I try to go to the bank once a week, but I try to limit to where I'm not constantly running because you're like a hamster on a wheel, you know, because your business can run you in this vicious cycle and you're stuck. You don't know what you're doing from 1 minute to the next. But if you have kind of a system set up where you say, okay, I'm going to pay the bills on the first, I'm going to look over my schedule on Sunday night. Now, granted, it's a lot easier for me. Yeah.
You sitting down and getting admin done, taxes or scheduling, anything that has to do with your business, do it on that day so that you don't have to worry about it later. I think that's very logical. So regardless of how
Yeah.
large your operation is, get things done out the way. We talked about the tough times, the back end. We talked about the good times, the rewards of it. What is one thing about entrepreneurship that nobody talks about that everyone should know?
Embrace every one of your failures. That's how you're going to grow. Make sure that instead of getting discouraged and wanting to quit and wanting to throw the mop head out the window and not look at another cleaning again, take those disappointments and take the failures and grow from them. You can keep building your business. Don't let one client ruin what you envision for your business. Don't let one bad day take away what's next for your business. Everybody has those moments, but it's what we do at those days where we feel like we failed that really matters. That's where you're going to learn the most.
Right from the crazy cleaning lady's mouth, you do such a good job of learning from your lessons, and you show that on your TikToks about what's
Yes.
good things that happen, bad things that happen, your mistakes, client mistakes, and she paints a story or what you would call a failure into the biggest lesson that not only helps her and she learns from it, but it helps her community on TikTok. And that's why I found her. I just had to have her on this interview. So, Samantha, the crazy cleaning lady, where can people find more about you and how you really share your journey, the solo cleaning business?
You can find me on TikTok as the Crazy Cleaning Lady 222, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Crazy Cleaning Lady 222 or Samantha Mancuso.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching.
Oh, thank you so much.
If you enjoyed this interview, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to ask your questions, comment down below, have a solo cleaning unite in the comments, and would love to see you in the next video. And if you want to know more about entrepreneurship, mindset, and growing your business, then be sure to watch these videos on screen. Thank you.
Oh, thank y'all.